Now that I think of it, I lurk in shadows for prey, rarely come out at daytime, and consume life force out of ponies, plus I can turn into a bat. Some would call me an average stalker, or a vampire, but I don't say, "I'll drink your blood, blah blah blah," and proceed to do it. No, besides this is red tea, not blood. It's totally different. So here's a thought. Since when the tea parties became lame and at the same time getting shit-faced by consuming a liter of pure vodka under 30 seconds became cool and impressive? I mean, sure, if you manage to hold down that much, it's clearly not something that everyone can do. But on the other hand, if your kiddies could talk, they would be like that one Ripley clone in Alien Resurrection. Kill me! But the point I'm trying to make is that frankly, tea parties are rather relaxing and close to my heart. Well, thus far, only other beings I've shared this time with have been rocks, snakes, spiders and bats inhabiting my place, but nonetheless it's good time. So what about this episode? The premise is simple. Discord decides to organize tea party on his own for once and goes out to prepare for it. The conflict in this little simple story arises as Discord gathers supplies and makes his tea party his way and realizes that status quo is a better idea. That is, making his party the same as when Fluttershy does it. The basic lesson of the story is that you should stay true to yourself. I mean, at this point that's it on the story, but come on, picking nits to any critic is like crack to an addict. So, get your tweezers ready and let's dive in. Starting off with Discord himself. Frankly, it's rather interesting that most of his screen presence is filled with weird imagery that's unprecedented even with the pink horse around. It's wonderful to see writers and animators embracing this character in such a manner, which on one hoof makes sense. It allows writers to take shortcuts and introduce pretty much anything they want and explain it by just tying it up to Discord. And animators in the meantime are free to create something really cool and abstract that could only be possible in a dream sequence. Kill it with fire before it kills us all! Sorry, it's just freaky as hell. Also, this has to be the first time Discord spends one-on-one time with Pinky, and I must say, next to the god of chaos, the pink one seems just rather dull. Am I alone on this one? Anyways, Fluttershy for the story is more of an observer than anything else. But I was rather surprised that she expected crazy things from Discord, more so in his party than her own. Maybe she just got hyped, as the kids say. Still, as Discord keeps acting the normal way, he quickly starts becoming more transparent, representing his death in a way, due to not abiding some random writer-induced rule of existing. Cause you know, that's smart writing, right? Now, I take an issue of this sort of existence. He must do chaotic things to stay alive, and yeah, sure, you can say the same thing about me. But at least I don't have short fuse for my stomach. But even so, this just doesn't feel right for any type of character. This short fuse feature often is introduced to quickly and lazily make a character do things or justify their actions. Besides, because of this feature, now you can't say that chaos is in his nature 100%. It's just an obligatory thing that he must do to stay alive. There are, of course, also symbolic implications of Discord's character in the world of ponies, but now it feels somehow lesser because of this episode. Oh well, at least we got this.
How wacky!
Nonetheless, in the end, Discord had that fear that because he and Flutters are so very different could also mean that the friendship between the two isn't really possible. See, there have been episodes like this before touching on this in a way, like Look Before You Sleep and Mode Pie, but when it comes to this particular one, I guess the term opposites attract could also be pretty decent summary. You can even take this idea further and relate it to things, events and whatnot else, like me for example. Though darkness is my calling, the rays of light that is the show and similar things still are appealing to me because they are different.